What's up, guys? Today's 58 of the 100 Days of LeetCode. We got another medium problem. Let's get right to it. So it's find first and last position of element in sorted array. So we're given an array of integers num sorted in non-decreasing order. Find the starting and ending position of a given target value. If target is not found in the array, return -1, -1. You must write an algorithm with O log n runtime complexity. So right away we're thinking binary search. And here are some examples, okay? We're looking for 8 in this array. So the first index of 8 is, what's that, 3. The last index is 4, so we return 3 and 4. We're looking for 6 in the same array as the previous example. 6 isn't in there, so we return -1, -1. And then here, again, the target is not in the array, so we return -1, -1. Okay, so let's get to writing the solution. First thing, we're going to write some checks just to get them out of the way and ensure that we find sort of the solutions to the trivial examples really quick. So we'll say if nums is an empty list, return -1, -1. We also want to check if we want to see if nums is a list of length 1, then we're going to do some stuff with it immediately. So we're going to say if length of nums equals 1, we can return, or sorry, not yet. What we want to see is whether or not the 1 value that's in there is our target. Okay, so we can say if nums 0, equals target, return 0 and 0, right? Because the first and last index of our target would be that 1 index that's in the array, target 0. Okay, and then if not, we're going to return -1, -1. Okay, so we get through all that, and let's say we still got some stuff to do. We're going to create a result list. It's going to be an empty list, and we're going to get right into our binary search. So binary search, I got a few videos on some simpler binary search solutions. If you want to check those out, I'll post those in the description. But basically what they are is, what binary search is we basically chop the list in half each and every single time. We check whether or not the value in the middle is greater than or less than to what we're looking for, and then we adjust our middle value accordingly. Okay, so we want to do low equals 0 and high is equal to the length of nums -1, right? So we start on the opposite sides of the list. So we want to do, well, low less than or equal to high. We want to find our mid. So mid is going to be low plus high minus low integer division by 2. Okay, so this is our first midpoint. So whatever our low is, that's going to be our offset. And then we want high minus low integer divided by 2 so we can find an average. And the reason why we do integer division is because we don't want to have a float here, because we're dealing with array indices, right? So we can't have a float there. All right, so basically what this for loop, what this while loop, is going to check is whether or not, this while loop is going to find our first index, okay? And then we're going to create another while loop to find our last index, all right? And they're both going to be O log n, so we're going to have an O log n runtime complexity. So let's do it. So we want to check if nums at our mid is equal to target. And if it is, we have to do another check, right? We have to check if mid is not equal to 0. And the reason why we're checking if whether or not mid is equal to 0, because if it is equal to 0, we will have an index out of bounds exception if we try to select the index 1 lower than that, okay? So if mid isn't equal to 0 and nums mid -1 is equal to target, well, then we know that that's not our first array position, right? Because the number to the left of it, and when I say to the left, I mean you're looking at the screen, is the target, all right? So the mid number we're at is not our first position, okay? So in this case, we're just going to say high is equal to mid -1, and the else block, we're going to do result list dot append mid, and we're going to break the loop. And the reason why we're appending the mid is because we found our first index if we're in that else block, and then we can just break the loop. Now we need to do an elif in this case, we'll do nums mid is greater than target. Then we also update our mid, or our high, excuse me, to mid -1. And else, and what else means is that the nums mid is less than target. Well, then we increase our low. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for finding the first index. We're going to copy and paste that. And now we're going to do the same thing except on the other side. So we're going to just change the if mid not equal part of it, and we're going to say if mid isn't equal to the length of nums -1 and nums mid +1 equals target. Well, at this point, we will update our low instead, right? Low equals mid +1. And we have one last thing to check. If we get through all this and we still have an empty list, that means we haven't found anything, so we're going to return -1 and -1. And otherwise, we will return our result list. And I put a equal sign somewhere. Where is that? There it is. Right at the bottom. Okay. Right at the top, too. Cool, so that's correct. Let's submit it. Cool, so that's how you solve that problem. This code's kind of sloppy. I didn't really have the time to clean it up today, but if you can come up with a much cleaner solution, feel free to let me know in the comments, link that solution. I'd be happy to see it. All right, if you enjoyed that, please like, subscribe. Come back tomorrow for day 59. Take care.